I am about to show you exactly what to take before bed to protect your muscle health and preserve your physical independence after 60. You might be waking up feeling noticeably weaker than you did a decade ago, struggling to push yourself out of deep chairs, or noticing your legs feel surprisingly heavy on the stairs. And this uncertainty about your ongoing mobility can be deeply unsettling. Many people believe this slow physical decline is just an inevitable, normal part of getting older, and your doctor might have told you to simply accept it and rest more, but that is not the complete truth. I have seen this exact scenario play out countless times in my clinic, especially with patients who think they are doing everything correctly by just reducing their physical activity. I remember a man named Arthur, aged 68, who came to me terrified because his legs felt so frail he almost fell getting out of bed in the middle of the night. He thought his walking days were ending, but we made one simple dietary adjustment to his evening routine, and within weeks, his nighttime leg stability completely returned. The symptoms of muscle loss often start very quietly, perhaps a slight tremble in your arms when lifting heavy groceries, or a feeling of deep exhaustion in your thighs after a short, normal walk, which should concern you just enough to take preventative action tonight. 1. Eat a small serving of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt exactly 1 hour before you intend to go to sleep. Providing your body with this specific type of slow-digesting dairy helps protect your lean tissue from breaking down overnight while you are fasting in bed. As we age past 60, our bodies become increasingly resistant to holding on to muscle mass, a condition that accelerates dramatically if the body lacks building blocks during the crucial 8 hours of sleep. By consuming this highly specific form of protein right before rest, you are supplying a steady, continuous stream of amino acids that actively defend your muscle fibers from degrading. This simple evening habit transforms your sleep from a period of muscular starvation into a period of gentle muscle preservation and repair. I remember a woman named Martha, aged 72, who noticed her arms and legs were growing significantly weaker and thinner despite eating normally during the daylight hours. She was making the common mistake of going to bed on a completely empty stomach for over 12 hours, forcing her body to break down her own existing muscle tissue for overnight energy. We added a small bowl of plain Greek yogurt to her evening routine, and within a few months, her strength stabilized, and the noticeable physical wasting completely stopped. Her ability to grip household objects and stand from low chairs noticeably improved just from changing how she ended her evening. The underlying reason this works so effectively for older adults comes down to a specific component found heavily in Greek yogurt called casein protein. Unlike the proteins you might get from a chicken breast at lunch or eggs at breakfast, which digest very rapidly and are used up quickly by the body, casein has a unique physical structure that causes it to form a slow-digesting matrix in your stomach. This means that instead of a sudden spike in nutrients, your digestive system slowly releases these vital muscle-building compounds drop by drop into your bloodstream over the course of several continuous hours. A recent clinical study focusing on older adults confirmed that providing this slow-release protein before sleep significantly improved overnight muscle protein synthesis, effectively counteracting the natural physical decline associated with aging. To implement this correctly and safely, you do not need to consume a massive portion that will upset your stomach or cause acid reflux when you lie down flat. Measure out exactly 1/2 cup of plain, unflavored, and unsweetened Greek yogurt, ensuring you carefully avoid any commercial varieties with added jams, fruits, or sugary syrups that could negatively disrupt your blood sugar while you sleep. You can eat this completely plain, or if you need a slight flavor enhancement, you might stir in a small pinch of raw cinnamon, but the key is to keep it strictly focused on the pure protein content. Consume this slowly about 60 minutes before your head hits the pillow, giving your stomach just enough time to begin the digestive process before you enter deep sleep. This supports a steadier supply of essential repair materials to your aging muscles throughout the entire night. By ensuring your body always has the resources it needs, you are actively preventing the overnight muscle wasting that robs so many seniors of their daily mobility and physical independence. This is a remarkably gentle, highly effective nutritional intervention that requires very little effort but yields substantial long-term benefits for your physical stability. Here is another simple habit. 2. Drink exactly 1/2 glass of pure tart cherry juice to naturally reduce tissue inflammation and support the sleep cycle. This specific deep red liquid is fundamentally different from regular sweet cherry juice or standard fruit juices you might find in the breakfast aisle, as it possesses powerful natural compounds that calm irritated muscle tissue. For individuals over 60, underlying chronic inflammation in the muscles and joints is a primary reason why mobility decreases and why morning stiffness becomes so incredibly severe. By introducing these specific calming compounds right before bed, you are directly addressing the low-grade swelling that prevents your muscles from fully recovering and repairing themselves from the daily wear and tear of walking and moving. I remember a man named George, aged 68, who struggled desperately with deep aching sensations in his leg muscles that kept him tossing and turning for hours every single night. He was constantly relying on over-the-counter pain pills just to get a few hours of rest, which was terrible for his long-term stomach lining and his kidney health. We swapped his evening pain medication for a daily half glass of pure tart cherry juice, and within just 2 weeks, the persistent nighttime aching in his legs faded away significantly. He finally began sleeping completely through the night, and his legs felt remarkably fresher and more capable when he woke up the next morning. The mechanics behind this specific juice rely on high concentrations of naturally occurring anthocyanins, which are the dark biological pigments that give the tart cherries their rich, deep crimson color. These pigments act as incredibly efficient sweepers inside your bloodstream, locating and gently neutralizing the inflammatory markers that accumulate in your muscle tissue throughout the day as you move around your home. Furthermore, tart cherries are one of the very few natural, food-based sources of melatonin, the exact hormone your brain physically requires to initiate and maintain the deep, restorative phases of sleep. Because true muscle repair only occurs during the absolute deepest stages of your sleep cycle, improving your sleep quality directly translates to improving your physical muscle retention. When you purchase this, you must read the label very carefully to ensure the bottle specifically states tart cherry juice or Montmorency cherry juice and absolutely nothing else. It must be 100% pure juice with zero added sugars, zero filler juices like apple or grape, and no artificial chemical preservatives, as those additives will completely negate the beneficial effects on your muscles. Pour exactly 4 to 6 ounces into a small glass and sip it slowly, roughly 30 to 45 minutes before you plan to close your eyes and go to sleep. If you find the natural taste is simply too intensely sour or acidic for your stomach, you can dilute that small amount with an equal portion of plain water to make it much gentler to drink. This supports both faster muscle recovery and the deep rest required to maintain your physical strength as you age. It is a dual-action habit that addresses both the physical irritation in your tissues and the neurological signals required to put your body into a state of total cellular repair. Implementing this simple drink can dramatically change how your body feels when you first place your feet on the bedroom floor each morning. One more easy change you can try is adjusting your evening nutrients. 3. Consume a small, measured handful of raw pumpkin seeds to deliver essential relaxing minerals directly to your muscle fibers. These small seeds are exceptionally dense in vital nutrients, particularly magnesium, which is perhaps the most critical and frequently deficient mineral required for proper muscle function in older adults. When your body is lacking in this specific mineral, your muscles physically cannot relax. They remain in a constant state of microscopic tension, which leads to feelings of tightness, fatigue, and those sudden, agonizing nighttime spasms. Supplying your system with a concentrated, natural dose of magnesium right before you sleep ensures your muscle fibers have the exact chemical signal they need to fully disengage, rest, and properly rebuild. I remember a woman named Helen, age 74, who suffered from terrifying calf and foot cramps that would violently wake her up at 2 in the morning, leaving her muscles sore and bruised for days afterward. She was mistakenly drinking large amounts of plain water right before bed thinking general dehydration was the cause, which only led to frustrating bathroom trips and disrupted sleep without stopping the cramps. We instructed her to eat a small handful of raw pumpkin seeds every evening instead, and the severe nighttime cramping ceased almost entirely within the first 10 days. Her muscles finally received the relaxing minerals they were literally starving for, allowing her to sleep deeply without the constant fear of sudden sharp pain. The direct explanation for this involves how your nerves communicate with your muscle tissue on a cellular level every single second of the day and night. Calcium is the mineral that tells your muscles to contract and tighten, while magnesium is the necessary calming counterpart that commands the muscle fiber to release and let go of that tension. As we age past 60, our digestive systems naturally become much less efficient at extracting and absorbing magnesium from our regular daily meals, leaving a vast majority of seniors in a constant state of mild, unnoticed depletion. Pumpkin seeds completely bypass this issue by providing a highly bioavailable, easily absorbed form of the mineral, along with healthy fats that help stabilize your overnight blood sugar, indirectly protecting your muscles even further. To add this to your evening routine, you only need about 1 ounce of seeds, which is roughly equivalent to a small closed handful or 2 standard tablespoons. It is absolutely crucial that you choose raw, unsalted, and unroasted pumpkin seeds, sometimes labeled as pepitas in the grocery store, to get the maximum nutritional value without consuming any excess sodium. Sit down and chew them very slowly and thoroughly about an hour before bed, ensuring they are completely broken down so your digestive system does not have to work hard overnight. If you have dental issues that make chewing whole seeds difficult or painful, you can easily purchase raw pumpkin seed butter and simply consume 1 plain spoonful instead. This supports complete muscular relaxation and prevents the severe tension that can physically damage muscle fibers during the night. By actively managing your mineral balance through real whole foods rather than synthetic laboratory supplements, your body can absorb exactly what it needs to maintain healthy, responsive muscles. It is a quiet, simple intervention that pays massive dividends in your daily physical comfort and your overall muscular longevity. 4. Perform a gentle 3-minute seated leg routine to ensure adequate blood flow reaches your lower extremities before resting. While taking in the right evening nutrients is incredibly important for your physical health, those nutrients cannot actually reach your muscle tissues if your circulation has pooled and stagnated from sitting in a recliner all evening. Older adults naturally experience a slowing of peripheral circulation, meaning the vital blood flow to the farthest points from the heart, like the calves and feet, becomes significantly reduced by the end of the day. By doing a few minutes of specific, non-strenuous movement right before getting under the covers, you physically pump the nutrient-rich blood back into those starving leg muscles so they can begin repairing immediately. I remember a man named Robert, age 69, who constantly complained that his legs felt exactly like heavy blocks of cement when he tried to stand up in the morning, making his first few steps incredibly stiff and unbalanced. He was making the very common error of sitting perfectly still watching television for 4 hours straight before immediately transferring directly to his bed for the long night. We introduced a very brief seated movement routine right before he turned out the lights, and his intense morning stiffness was dramatically reduced in just a matter of days. The simple act of re-engaging his circulation allowed his leg muscles to clear out the stagnant metabolic waste that was causing his severe morning immobility. The physiological mechanism here relies on the simple fact that your lower leg muscles act as a secondary pump for your circulatory system, helping push blood back up toward your heart against the force of gravity. When you sit completely still for hours, that natural pumping action stops entirely, causing blood and fluid to pool quietly in your lower legs, ankles, and feet, which actively deprives the local muscle tissue of fresh oxygen and nutrients. A light, unweighted movement sequence safely activates these muscular pumps without raising your heart rate or stimulating your nervous system in a way that would keep you awake. This ensures that the protein from your yogurt and the relaxing minerals from your seeds actually make it down to the tissues that desperately need them while you sleep. To perform this safely, simply sit on the very edge of your mattress right before you plan to lie down, ensuring both of your feet are planted flat on the floor and your posture is tall and straight. Slowly extend your right leg straight out in front of you, point your toes directly toward the ceiling. Hold that gentle position for 3 seconds and then slowly lower it back to the floor. Alternate between your right and left legs, repeating this slow, deliberate extension motion about 10 to 15 times for each side, focusing entirely on the feeling of the muscle gently contracting and releasing. You can finish by simply lifting both of your heels off the floor while keeping your toes pressed down a few times, which will directly stimulate the calf muscles before you finally swing your legs into bed. This supports optimal nutrient delivery and fluid management throughout your entire lower body while you remain completely stationary overnight. It is not about building new muscle through heavy exercise. It is strictly about priming your circulatory system to support the daily maintenance and health of the lean tissue you already possess. This tiny physical habit completely changes the internal environment of your legs right before the longest period of rest your body experiences each day. 5. Drink exactly 4 ounces of plain water mixed with a tiny pinch of natural mineral salt right before you brush your teeth for the night. Providing your body with this precise balance of fluids and essential electrolytes directly prevents the sudden, painful muscle spasms that wake so many older adults from a deep, peaceful sleep. I remember a man named Thomas, aged 71, who suffered from severe nighttime calf cramps that left his legs incredibly sore and weak the entire next day. He was making the mistake of drinking large glasses of completely plain water right before bed, flushing necessary minerals out of his system. We added just a tiny pinch of sea salt to a very small amount of his evening water, and his nighttime leg spasms completely disappeared within a week. The reason this specific mineral combination works is deeply connected to how your muscle fibers conduct necessary electrical signals while you are resting quietly in your bed. When you sweat slightly during the day or even during your sleep, your aging body naturally loses trace minerals like sodium and potassium that act as the vital chemical messengers telling your muscles to stay relaxed. If you only replenish the water but not the minerals, those electrical signals misfire, causing the muscle to suddenly clench and lock up in a painful cramp. Supplying a tiny amount of high-quality mineral salt ensures the fluids you drink actually enter the muscle cells properly rather than just passing rapidly through your kidneys and bladder. To prepare this correctly without overwhelming your digestive system or causing you to wake up repeatedly for the bathroom, pour no more than a quarter cup of room temperature water into a small glass. Take exactly 1 small pinch of pink Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, absolutely avoiding refined white table salt, and stir it carefully until it dissolves completely in the small amount of liquid. Drink this quickly about 20 to 30 minutes before you lie down, ensuring your body has just enough time to absorb the trace minerals into your bloodstream before you sleep. This simple daily routine supports steady muscle hydration and uninterrupted physical rest throughout the entire night. Here is another simple habit. 6. Lower the temperature in your bedroom to exactly 65 degrees Fahrenheit or roughly 18 degrees Celsius before you get into bed. Creating this specific, cool environment forces your body to drop its core temperature, which is the exact biological signal required to enter the deep stages of sleep where all physical muscle repair actually occurs. I remember a woman named Margaret, aged 67, who constantly woke up feeling physically exhausted and noticeably weaker despite spending 8 full hours in bed every single night. She was making the mistake of sleeping with the heater turned up high and piling on heavy blankets, preventing her body from resting deeply. We instructed her to drastically lower her room thermostat, and her morning strength and physical energy returned remarkably fast. The connection between your room temperature and your long-term muscle health relies entirely on the quality of your physical rest and the natural hormones your body releases while you are unconscious. When your sleeping environment is too warm, your brain stays stuck in the lighter, restless phases of sleep to continuously monitor your body heat and prevent you from overheating under the blankets. It is only when your core temperature drops in a comfortably cool room that your brain releases the specific growth compounds that travel to your legs, arms, and core to actively repair the muscle damage you sustained during the day. Keeping the room cool is essentially flipping the switch that actively turns on your body's internal overnight maintenance system. To implement this effectively and comfortably, you should adjust your home thermostat or your bedroom air conditioning unit roughly 1 hour before you intend to go to sleep so the room is fully cooled down when you enter. If you find 65 degrees feels a little bit too chilly when you first lie down, it is perfectly fine to wear warm socks to keep your feet comfortable as long as the air you are breathing remains crisp and cool. Maintain this exact temperature consistently through the entire night, avoiding the strong urge to turn the heat back up if you wake up briefly to use the restroom. This strictly supports the optimal physical state needed for your body to rebuild strength while you sleep. One more easy change you can try is adding a specific evening treat. 7. Eat one small single square of high-quality dark chocolate roughly 2 full hours before your planned bedtime. Consuming this specific type of dense, rich cocoa provides your bloodstream with a concentrated wave of antioxidants that actively help clear out the metabolic waste products that make your aging muscles feel incredibly stiff and heavy. I remember a man named David, aged 73, who felt an intense, dull ache in his shoulders and upper back every morning that made getting dressed incredibly difficult and frustratingly slow. He was making the mistake of eating sugary, processed cookies late at night, flooding his system with inflammatory compounds. We replaced his nightly cookies with one square of very dark chocolate, and his morning stiffness decreased substantially within weeks. The primary biological reason dark chocolate is so remarkably effective for older adults is due to its extremely high concentration of natural plant compounds called flavonoids, which act as powerful internal cleansers. Throughout your normal day of walking, lifting groceries, and simply moving around your home, your muscles constantly generate microscopic waste products that need to be flushed out of the tissue so the aging fibers can heal. The specific flavonoids found exclusively in dark cocoa act like a gentle internal broom that sweeps these irritating waste products out of your muscle fibers and into your bloodstream so your body can naturally dispose of them. By removing this cellular debris overnight, your muscles wake up feeling physically lighter, more flexible, and significantly less prone to daily damage. To ensure you get the muscular benefits without disrupting your deep sleep or your overnight blood sugar levels, you must carefully select a dark chocolate bar that is at least 70% cocoa or higher. Checking the label to confirm sugar is absolutely not the first ingredient. Break off exactly one small square, roughly the size of a standard postage stamp, and let it melt slowly in your mouth rather than chewing and swallowing it quickly. Eat this small piece at least 2 full hours before you turn out the lights, as dark chocolate does contain a very tiny, trace amount of natural caffeine that needs a little time to clear your system. This directly supports a cleaner, healthier internal environment for your muscle tissues to thrive in as you age. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video, and subscribe for more simple health tips.